Imagine charging your EV in just 10 minutes, and then driving 500 miles without stopping? Sounds like sci-fi, right? Well, that's the promise of solid-state batteries, and the auto industry says they're coming sooner than you think. But here's the big question. When will we actually see them in our cars, and will they live up to the hype? I'm Bobber, and welcome back to Pulse Charge Path, your pit stop for everything electric vehicles. If you're new here, I break down EV tech so you can cut through the marketing noise and know what it's actually worth getting excited about. Today we're talking about solid-state batteries, what they are, why everyone's buzzing about them, and the real timeline before they're parked in your driveway. So first, what's the big deal with solid-state batteries? In simple terms, they replace the liquid electrolyte inside a regular lithium-ion battery with a solid material. It means they can hold more energy in the same space, charge faster, and they're way less likely to overheat or catch fire. Think of it like swapping out a balloon filled with water for one filled with jello. It's just more stable. So automakers claim we could see up to double the energy density, which is why some say a 500 or even 600-mile range EV is possible with solid-state tech. Plus, charging times could drop from hours to minutes. Sounds amazing, right? Here's where the timeline gets interesting. Toyota has been one of the loudest voices here, saying they'll have solid-state batteries in production vehicles around 2027 or 2028. BMW and Ford are aiming for the late 2020s too. QuantumScape, a Silicon Valley startup backed by Volkswagen, has been running pilot production and says they're retargeting commercial use before 2030. But here's the reality check. Solid-state batteries have been 5 years away for the last 20 years. The science is solid, pun intended, but scaling up production, making them affordable, getting them to survive 100,000 miles of real world, driving is a massive engineering challenge. Now let's talk promises versus reality. On paper, you're looking at twice the range compared to today's EVs, 80% charge in about 10 to 15 minutes, better safety, and longer lifespan. Potentially lower costs once production is mature. In reality, early solid-state batteries will likely first show up in luxury EVs with big price tags. Then, as manufacturing improves, they'll trickle down into mainstream models. And remember, even if Toyota or QuantumScape hits their target dates, it might still take another 3 to 5 years before we see them widely available in affordable cars. Let me throw a question to you. If solid-state batteries really delivered on all the promises, would you be willing to wait until the 2030s for your next EV, or would you grab the best lithium-ion model available today? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious how many of you are waited out folks versus buy now and upgrade later. Another important point. Solid-state isn't just for EVs. This tech could transform smartphones, laptops, and even airplanes. Imagine a phone that lasts 3 days on a charge or an electric plane that can actually make long-haul flights possible. This isn't just an EV story. It's an energy revolution waiting to happen. But, and here's the big but, until these things can be mass-produced cheaply, lithium-ion is still king. That's why automakers keep improving today's battery chemistry with things like lithium iron phosphate LFP cells, silicon anodes, and better thermal management. So even while we're waiting for solid-state, the EVs on sale right now are going to keep getting better every year. So here's the takeaway. Solid-state batteries are one of the most promising pieces of EV tech in development. But don't hold your breath for a full market takeover anytime soon. Expect the first models by the late 2020s, wider availability in the early 2030s, and a lot of cool incremental improvements along the way. Alright, that's the breakdown. If you enjoyed this and want to stay ahead of the EV curve, hit that like button, subscribe to Pulse Charge Path, and tap the bell so you don't miss my next video. We're going to dive into the craziest EV charging experiments happening right now, including wireless charging roads. Till then, charge smart, drive far, and I'll see you on the next lap.